So is it really about winning? Is it always all about winning? Jimbo Fisher was a winning coach. He was winning. If you take a look at his record, it's like 65 to 25 or something like. The dude is a winner. How do you fire a winning coach for more attention?
Bandwagon Buffs, man. Hell of a game. 2 went for 500. BWB. Bandwagon Buffs.
That's right. Buff Nation, what up? BWB, my bandwagon Buffs. What it is, what it does, and what it's gonna be. It's your man's Harry Billion. Family, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up and don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can get the videos as soon as I upload it to YouTube. Family, I gotta go ahead and get into this video real quick, so that's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. All right, guys, so whether you had an opportunity to catch Coach Prime's weekly press conference or not, there are a few things that he said that I would love to share my perspective on. You know how I do here on TLP Sports Club. Let's go ahead and go straight to Coach Prime and his press conference, and let me give you my perspective on a few questions that he answered, how he answered them, why he answered it the way that he answered it. So let's go. Let's take a listen.
Let's go and start with the bull jump. Let's go and get that out of the way, because I just talk about I'm blessed, so I know the devil's going to strike. Let's go.
So off the bat, I want to let you know right here, he's obviously irritated. You can tell that Coach Prime is irritated with losing. He doesn't like to lose. This guy does not like to lose. He's trying to find answers. He's trying to figure things out. How can we win these close games? So he understands that the questions are coming. You're going to ask me, why didn't I run the ball? Why didn't I do this on first down? Why didn't I do that on second down? You love to second guess what is going on. So right off the bat, Coach Prime is setting the precedent. He already knows what's coming. Coach Prime used to work in the media. He didn't just play the game on the field. He also played the game with the microphone. He also played the game off the media. There are games going on all around. That's one thing to take into consideration. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? So he's getting ready to do all of that. Let's keep listening.
Okay, go ahead, sweetie.
Well, on the topic of controversial topics.
Controversial? What controversy do we have around here? We don't have any controversy around here.
Stephen A. Smith, Texas A&M, he said primetime Deion Sanders in the SEC.
So it's controversial when Stephen A. talks?
No,
Okay.
but he says that needs to happen. Just your thoughts on the Texas A&M coaching vacancy?
I want to win. I want to win a game. So you think I really do sit down and think about that kind of stuff? Like what strikes me about that? About myself, that you guys really think I sit down and say, yeah, Stevie A, yeah. Like, come on, I'm good. Like, we got to win. Let's focus on this week. And we play Friday, so we lose a day of practice, so we got to focus.
Let's go ahead and cover this just a little bit. So this question is the hottest question right now on the planet. This thing is really hot because Coach Prime's name was mentioned. Anytime Coach Prime's name is mentioned, it makes everything much hotter. It just makes it much more newsworthy. That's why everybody's talking about it. And look how many names are here. Starting with probably one of the top prospects is Dan Lanning. He is the Oregon coach, the coach that truly beat us this year. But anyway, you got Dan, you got Mike, even Jet Fish, the one that we just played this weekend that just beat us by 3 points. You guys don't really understand why Coach Prime's name is being heavily mentioned for this job. The Texas A&M athletic director said these words, okay? So if you look right here on the screen, we should be more relevant on the national scene. Who else can make you more relevant on the national scene than Coach Prime? Just for the mere fact that his name was mentioned in the coaching search, this thing has gone national. Everybody's talking about it. Coach Prime to Texas A&M. Texas A&M is in the SEC. The SEC job is real sexy because the SEC comes with automatic recruiting pipeline for some of these big hogs that Coach Prime wants. It gives you pretty much a blank check. Texas A&M alumni pretty much can give you as much money as you need to make sure that they get on that national stage. They're paying Jimbo Fisher $77 million to get rid of him. So there's a lot of money in the SEC. There's a lot of money with Texas A&M. Coach Prime would pretty much have a blank check to be able to do what he wants to do at Texas A&M, and he can get whoever he wants to get. And you know, you give Coach Prime that kind of leverage, he's going to dominate. Now, I've been having some disputes with some people in the comments talking about Coach Prime would not win one game in the SEC. It sounds so silly, but I'm like, all right, cool. You got it. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead, say what you're going to say. It's okay. You know who you are, okay? How can I argue with somebody bringing up a hypothetical situation and then wants me to take a position based on their hypothetical hypothetical, if Coach Prime would ever win one game. For 9 months, I was pregnant with the information telling you guys TCU would not beat us because of X, Y, and Z. I argued that until I turned blue with my dark-skinned face. And then we went out and we beat TCU. I've argued and argued and argued and brought information upon information. I brought evidence upon evidence. Still, I was having arguments with people in the comments in the early days. And then it happened. So now we're going to have that same old argument. Coach Prime can never win a game in the SEC, blah, 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 because the SEC is such a great football place. And then we'll wipe Coach Prime off the planet. Like, come on, bro. The same recruiting pipeline where all the other SEC teams, the Southeastern Conference, wherever they get their recruits from, whatever pipeline they're using, Coach Prime will have access to that same pipeline. So what makes you think if he can get 5-star and top players being at Jackson State without much money, a recruiting budget of $23,000, if he can get those players, what makes you think he can't get top players once he has a blank check, once the NIL pool or the NIL pot is full and overflowing because the alumni, they have a deeper pocket? What kind of silliness are you talking about that he won't be able to recruit the same type of guys that the other teams that are winning in the SEC recruit? What makes you think he won't be able to do that? I'm not willing to join the silly conversations because that's all y'all want. Y'all want to feel like you're right about Coach Prime. He's the worst coach, blah, 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 blah. All right? So let's go ahead and keep listening.
Ryan Howell from Bullet Day, the camera. We know Dylan Edwards is extremely talented. He had a phenomenal first game. Since then, he hasn't really had those home run plays. He hasn't reached the end zone. How has he dealt with kind of the ups and downs this season? And do you feel like he's close to popping again?
I don't think it's ups and downs regarding Dylan. We got to figure out ways to get him the ball in space. Dylan is not a between the tackle type of guy. The kid is only about 160 pounds, but he's the toughest 165 pounds you ever want to meet. That's on us to figure out ways to get him the ball in space and allow him to do what he's capable of doing. I think in that first game, you see him explode because all those plays darn near were from tackle out. And that's what we got to do a better job of, getting him the ball in space so he could be who he is.
So that's exactly something that I talk about when I say run the ball, run the ball. And then you have people in the comments that would say, how can we run the ball? Our offensive line is terrible. They can't block. Well, in the Arizona game, we see that the offensive line actually can block, but you have to put them in position to be successful. I've said that until I turn blue. I keep saying that, There are different ways to run. You have to know your personnel. It doesn't matter who it is. Is it good to have a wide receiver that's 6'5"? Yes. Antonio, number 4, he's a tall wide receiver. But are you going to have a wide receiver like Travis Hunter, barely clearing 6 feet, maybe 6'1", 6'2" on a good day? Jimmy Horn is what, 5'9", 5'11" maybe? You have Mathis. Some of your best wide receivers in the NFL are not clearing 6 feet tall. You have the talent in the young men. You have to put them in positions to win. The play actually has to be tailored for that player's specific talent. That's what Coach Prime is basically saying. He's saying Dylan Edwards is a good running back. He ain't going to bust through the line like some other running backs. He's not that type of running back. If you draw up a specific play and do a shuffle pass or something where we give Dylan Edwards the ball in space, he can be effective. The same thing goes with the offensive line. You got to find ways to help the offensive line to succeed. You got to draw plays that plays to their strengths. We have a quarterback, I guess he seeks perfection, and he holds the ball extra long trying to make sure that he gets the right read or that he gets the right play. If he doesn't see something that he likes downfield, he's not throwing that ball. He's going to hold it just a little longer to make sure that he sees the right thing and he feels it before he lets that ball go. Is that best for the current line that he has? No. But guess what? You can go out and get another line that maybe is a little stronger and can give you a little bit more blocks, but that line is also going to have some deficiencies. That's what I want people to understand. Football is not as simple as get all of the best players that you can gather and you're going to win. That's not how it works. So we all have to understand that when we get into situations like that, it's going to boil down to us putting people into position to be successful, drawing plays for the offensive line, giving the offensive line opportunity and to do the right things.
You don't care about the noise for us wherever else, but parents do. They hear it. When they come to you and say...
What parents have heard it that you know of? That
parents who have X, I would imagine.
Have come to me. I mean, you making an assumption. I want to know
be
what parents have come.
Have any come to you? Do they say to you, what would you say to them if they said, are you going to coach my kid? Are you going to be here in 2-3 years to coach my kid? What do you tell them? What do you say?
I tell them what I told them when they came. I'm here. Like I tell her my mother's here, my sister's here, my dog is here, my daughter's here, three of my sons are here. My other daughter comes during every home game. We're here. I get mail here. I claim taxes here. I pay taxes here. I'm sorry. I'm here. I don't hear that. I don't hear that. Maybe our recruiting staff hears it, but I don't hear it. I'm too honest, not with parents, and I'm gonna tell them the truth.
So basically what the reporter is trying to understand is that, hey, Coach Prime, how do you deal with the noise? How do you deal with parents who come to you and they're coming to you trying to say, hey, I'm hearing this and I'm hearing that? What do you say when they ask you those questions when you are in that recruiting chair? You got to be careful how you answer this question, because it's as if you're pretty much saying that you're paying attention to like the TLP Sports Club, or you're watching so much YouTube, you're reading comments on social media, you're on Instagram talking to detractors. They can give people a sense that, oh, he's too busy listening to the noise and he's too busy on Instagram and listening to detractors and not doing his job. You always got to be careful, because questions in the media are not what they seem. When you say something, people are going to take out what they want to take out, and they're going to answer that. This is a D1 coach. This is a coach that is dealing with a multitude of things. He ain't got time to be sitting on social media dealing with some of the stuff that people like myself deal with on a daily basis with the fan base. He's not answering silly questions and people telling him he suck on social media. He's not on social media all day. He has things that he has to do. That question can be a two-edged sword. Don't feed into speculations. If the question is speculative, I'm not saying that all of these guys in the media, they got some type of secret thing that they're trying to get at. No, some of these questions are just straightforward questions, but how you answer can lead to another question, or can lead to a and then people go digging and trying to find answers on how they perceived your answer to the question that they asked you. The Texas A&M job is a very attractive job. It's something that you would take if you were in a bad situation and you were a coach that wanted a better situation for yourself. But also you have to understand that you do not want to give an answer that is going to feed into the future when you are ready to make a decision like that. You don't want to put yourself in a position to be like a Mel Tucker, where you're two-tongued, where your words don't mean anything. Sometimes, yeah, things can change overnight. That's totally understandable. You say, yes, I'm staying. Yes, everything is okay. But then right after you answer that question and you go off, you get in an argument with the AD, or you get in an argument with some provost or somebody at the school, and they're like, well, we don't want you around here anyways. I'm going to vote you out. If the last vote comes and the last vote falls on me and it's my choice to do what I got to do, I'm going to vote you out. Nobody wants you around here. We don't like X, Y, and Z about you. We don't like the fact that you pray. It could be you praying. It could be a multitude of things. You just gave your word to some people, but something transpired behind the scenes that we are not privy to. Then guess what happens? Now all of a sudden that Texas A&M job becomes open, and now you're open to that Texas A&M job because you need a new environment, because now you're in a situation where you cannot go public with whatever's going on behind the scenes we the public don't know anything about, and then overnight you're like, boom, I'm moving to Texas. Those type of scenarios happen. I'm not saying that, oh, coaches don't change their minds or things don't happen and they don't have a right to change their minds. They do have the right to change their minds. It's their life that they're living. We're just living it vicariously through them, okay, in the public. That's what we're doing, and we get to talk about it on these YouTube channels, but at the end of the day, it's their life that they're living, and we ain't got no right to be telling nobody not to do whatever they want to do in their life. That's their life. Whether it's your favorite team or it's your favorite player or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Let them live their life the way they want to live their life. If Coach Prime chooses to go to Texas A&M or leave Jackson State, it is what it is. We're never going to understand that. So it's okay for that school to make that decision based on whatever their best interest is, but it's not okay when a Coach Prime makes that same decision based on his best interest. That's what we got to think about. You are a winning coach. You just beat a big team on Saturday. They're still going to fire you because they feel like you're not putting them in a position to be talked about nationally. Let that sink in for just a second. Think about it. Think about how Coach Prime is, right? All the things that we love about Coach Prime, all the things that those who hate Coach Prime hate about him. Just think about how he is in the media. The Texas A&M AD is literally saying, I want us to be like Colorado. He is literally saying, I want us to be talked about nationally like Colorado is. We are not in the national conversation. And for those of you who are like, oh no, that's not what he was saying. He ain't trying to be no media darling. He ain't trying to be no salesman. He's talking about national championships. I get it. I understand it. But guess what? Coach Prime's name has come up with the national talk. If Coach Prime had the dogs that he needed, the 7 dogs that he really wanted, I guarantee you that his name would be in that national championship talk. Being talked about nationally, whether it's championships or whether it's just the fact that your name is in the media and people are talking about you. If he wants to be talked about like a Georgia, Alabama, like any other big schools, and he is in a big conference, he has to go out and get the personality that can make that happen. But guess what? That personality comes with some other stuff that you may not like. You fire a winning coach because you want more attention. That's what he's saying. So is it really about winning? Is it always all about winning? Jimbo Fisher was a winning coach. He was winning. If you take a look at his record, it's like 65 to 25 or something like. The dude is a winner. How do you fire a winning coach for more attention? Tell me that. So when Coach Prime says the fan only blows when you're hot, you want attention. Even when you're winning, it's not enough. Why would a coach want to go to a school where he is doing his job, where he's supposed to go and be a coach? This is the type of stuff that a lot of y'all miss. Y'all just hear what you want to hear, but you don't really read between the lines. If Coach Prime goes to a school and he's winning, and then they decide we're going to let you go because you are not really bringing us to the spotlight like we really want, so we're going to have to let you go. Imagine that. That's what Coach Prime is saying. Coach Prime is trying not to get trapped. They can do it, but you can't. We all make a lot of noise, but guess what? When these schools are ready to get rid of you, they're not going to ask no questions. $77 million. They got it. They have $77 million to buy you out of your contract, even though you're winning and you are doing exactly what they called you to that school to do. You've been one of those people that says, oh my gosh, they want a really good coach. Liar. You're full of crap, because if they wanted a really good coach, they had him. They had him there in Jimbo Fisher. So they're not looking for somebody who can just win. Texas A&M by far were not a losing program. Look at their schedule. Beat New Mexico, lost to Miami. Just this weekend, they beat Mississippi State 51-10. After they won that game 51-10, the dude gets fired. Record is 6-4. Won 6 games, made a bowl game automatically. They lost 4 games. That's a winning record. So you're looking for a really good coach that can go undefeated. No losses. You don't want to take no L's at all. You're not talking about nothing. That's why Coach Prime is staying where he's at, because you don't really understand the bigger scheme of things. Coach Prime can get a lot of jobs in college football if he wanted it. He can also get an NFL job as well. So whatever your narratives is, he's not a good coach, he makes a lot of mistakes, blah, 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 blah. You have to understand that his record as a new college football coach is a lot better than a lot of people that are given a lot more grace than he has been given. Coach Prime is on the hot seat regardless because of his standards. He's on the hot seat. He's been in college for 3 years. This is his 4th year coaching. 3 at Jackson State. This is number 4 at Colorado. And he's turned around the program. Name any other coach that has his record and tell me that that person is a bad coach. If you tell me that Coach Prime's record is an indicator that he's a bad coach, then you don't know anything about football, and you are exactly who Coach Prime is talking about. Real football people who know football know what's going on at Colorado. A lot of your detractors don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm gonna leave it right there, okay? Okay, family, that is all the information that I have for this video. I hope you got a little something out of it, and if you did, please make sure to smash that subscribe button to help this channel grow. That's all I do here. I'm gonna have to leave it right there. You know who I am. I'm Harry B, and that right there was the Liberian Perspective. That's TLP Sports Club.